moving the dead decapitated body to pick up the knives, because it cuts to him holding them in his private jet on the way back home. So he's
That's
like, hold
another.
on, I gotta count all these knives. How many do I have? How many daggers do I have? Is there? Oh wait, check under his legs.
Watched.
I finally
Watched.
I
finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
finally
Watched.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. I'm Alain.
And this is David, and it's all for you, Damien. And we finally watched The Omen. I've been saying that nonstop, and my wife did like divorces on the table.
Yeah.
Because I love that line to then just jumping to your death for some reason.
So, what's so amazing about this movie, which if you did not suggest to do it for the podcast, I would just glaze over this film. I would never bother with this film. I also finally watched this film. I should mention it's my first time, our first time.
I said we.
And okay. And it's kind of a shame. I mean, I guess this is why we have the podcast, right? Because the references and from all my times on and I'll list them as we go. But how many movies take from this movie is so amazing.
Well, and it obviously takes a little bit too from this came out just a little bit after The Exorcist, things like that. So
I was curious about that too, because there was something that was like very Exorcist reminiscent about. I think either a certain line or a certain scene or something, but even down to there's like a production design set piece in this movie, and I was like, that looks so much like the set piece from the Shia LaBeouf Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull.
I'm sure they got that from this, yeah.
I was just like, and you know which one I'm talking about? It's like the graveyard.
No, I was fucking with
Oh,
you.
you were being sarcastic. No, but I'm just saying there were so many times where I just had to like pause and think about, where have I seen this before? And it's not where have I seen this, it's where has this been inspired by the Omen. But I was just so amazed on this is like the groundwork of so many things that I've seen.
I watched this over 2 nights because we've pushed this back recording like 5 days in a row. And I really enjoyed the first half. I think I listened to it. The reason we did this is because I listened to another podcast that was talking about horror movies. They brought this one up. They spoiled a little bit of it for me, but they also were just talking about how amazing it is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, shit, we have to do it. And the whole time I was watching it as like a historical piece of like, oh, this is so good. And it's so, in the fact that like it was filmed on location, right? Like I think they really filmed in Rome and Italy. They really went to Jerusalem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they really filmed in London. Like all
that's
that
cool.
stuff. Yeah, right. And then just it's like a very tight, well-crafted story. But I'm like, I'm not, this isn't going to create any tension in me. And I knew, because there are sequels, how this movie had to end. And
Right.
yet, in the last 15 minutes, I was like, man, I kind of want to turn it off and watch it later. Like the tension was so much that I was like, I don't want to finish it right now. And I was like, why am I being like this? Like, just, I powered through it. But it was good. It was like very effective as a horror thriller. So we're doing this 1 year early because this is the 49th anniversary of this movie.
Oh. That's funny because we just did Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that was the 50th anniversary of that movie.
So this came out in June of 1976, and I think they even did like a special preview June 6th, 1976. And like the people that came out of the theater all freaked out. They had put the theaters put like 666 up all like outside, and it freaked people out even more.
Oh, like all the signage and stuff.
And they did the same thing. The sequel that you and I have both seen that I saw in the theater with Julia Stiles and Liev Schreiber.
Not the sequel, the remake.
Sorry, the remake. Yeah, the reboot. Well, do you think that was a reboot? They were going to.
It's almost a shot-for-shot remake, and I mean, I say shot-for-shot, but like plot point to plot point remake.
They were going. That was also released June of 2006.
I feel like you have to though at this point, right? Like you have to do that
Well,
for a movie that
the first Omen
revolves.
the first Omen that just came out was released in 2024. So, which I actually am now interested in. I almost don't even know if I've ever heard about that one. Like, I don't know if I knew that it existed. The one that just came out last year.
Yeah, but none of them are good, right? Like they're just like mediocre at best.
But it's this is kind of like Halloween to me, right? Like, so the first one is really good, and then I'm so invested in that it's like, yeah, if they're lesser, but I'm sort of invested in this story now and seeing where it goes.
Well, you know, they came out with a new Exorcist movie. I think it's called like Exorcist Believer or something like that. And that bomb, that did like horrible numbers and reviews and everything. So I'm curious on anything made nowadays
Well, but
trying
they're
to
also
like cash grab and write off of like the original.
but I think there's a huge contingent of fans for the second Exorcist and the third Exorcist, the ones that came out in like
I
the
wasn't
70s.
sorry, I wasn't
No,
talking
I
about
know.
those.
I know, but I'm saying like the Omen, I bought like a 4-pack box from Scream Factory of the first 4 that came out, 7 years.
Scream Factory.
So it looked pretty good, but I do think this one was ripe for like a 4K would make it look better.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Although, like the version I watched off of Amazon, it looked really nice. It looked really good.
Well, I'm
And
wondering if that was like already they have it digitally, but they haven't
an
like released
enhancement,
the
maybe.
they haven't released the physical copy of it.
What's funny is when I was looking this up on Amazon, it had two of them, right? And obviously, the description and the dates were like, oh, the 2006 one and the 1976 one, and they were the different movies, but they both shared the same poster of the 76 one.
Right.
And for nostalgic value, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the trailer for the Julia Stiles one because that's the only one I've seen, and I saw it years ago when I was like 14, and it freaked me out. So I watched the trailer, and I was like, okay, it's kind of coming back to me, like the nanny hanging herself, the one-eyed priest, the kind of just the scary imagery. I was just like, okay, I could see how this would scare like little me. And then to watch the original and be like, oh, they didn't try to veer off and do their own thing hardly at all. Like all of that stuff that's in the 2006 is from the 1976 one. I thought, like, I had no idea if like they were taking a creative liberty to kind of just
Right.
go crazy, but they pretty much stuck. I'm curious now. I'm trying to remember if there was someone who got beheaded by a window.
There was a
And
behead. I think there was a beheading. I remember like a swing set up at some point, and I didn't even remember Julia Stiles. I remembered Liev Schreiber because this was like maybe the first time I sort of clocked him in a movie of like, oh, who's that guy? And like, I don't even remember my feelings too well in the movie.
I think they might have switched the Julia Stiles and Liev Schreiber roles, like how important the roles are in the new movie, because I'm thinking Julia Stiles is kind of coming off of the Bourne series at this point, so she kind of has more star power than Liev at this point.
Well, I think her star power is before Born, like in the like late '90s, early
Oh, but it was
2000s.
like really revving up. Now I don't know. I'm just speaking on conjecture, but I remember being freaked out as a kid. So I did not think. My point is, I did not think that I would be freaked out with this movie. But there were a couple scenes that I was just like, what they are trying to do, they are doing it really well.
Yes, I and also as a parent, it's got a different feeling to it, right? Like you're seeing it in a different
Definitely has a
light.
different feeling to it. Yeah, yeah.
I explained the spoiler
Imagine if
alert.
you adopted one of your kids.
Yeah, thank God. Well, I'm
Thank
gonna
God.
get I'm gonna get testing done for sure now. But no, I just explained to my wife the middle of the movie, the graveyard scene, and that finding that out, it just freaked her out. Me telling her, you know what I mean?
That
S-
that that hat. Now that you mention it, that's the scene I'm talking about. That has to be the most terrifying scene in the whole movie, where like just the pure thought process he must be going through. Forget the dogs, forget everything like that. As soon as he lifts that baby gravestone and there's a tiny little skeleton in there, I'm like, I'm done. I almost turned it off. I was like, holy shit. And that's like the biggest reveal of the whole movie.
Yeah, and I knew that was coming, and I was like, "How do they do that?" Like, I guess I'm. It was one of those things where it's like I either remembered it being like spoiled for me years back, or it's just like it felt like that had to be the reveal once you realize that this is the devil. So there is like I was gonna leave this until we meet her, but Mrs.
Yeah,
Baylock,
Baylock.
she was supposed to that character was supposed to be like a sweet Irish nanny that as the movie later on in the movie you realize that she is like one of Satan's helpers to like keep him safe. But the actress when she came in, Billy Whitelaw, played it
Her
like it
name is Billy Whitelaw.
yeah, played
That's
it
a name.
played it like it is in the movie. And the producers were like, man, we kind of got to get rid of this character because they wanted the movie the entire time for you to guess whether or not is this just like coincidence or is this the spawn of Satan? And
The entire movie they wanted you to guess.
they wanted you to be thinking like, is this real or is this fake? Is
No.
the priest right? And if you watch the movie without her character, you can see like, oh well, this is a lot of a coincidence, a lot of like conjecture that this is like we don't know, whatever. And then you get the discovery at the end with her in it, but with her in it, I think it does sort of give away a little bit more that this is the child of Satan. However, for you and I watching this 49 years later, we already know that, and her she is the best character in the movie.
It is weird to think about when you're making a movie to think about longevity of your movie. And I guess we can take Fight Club as a movie with a twist and knowing like is my movie just as good watching this years later, everyone knowing the twist? And the answer is yes, obviously with Fight Club.
Right.
But it's an interesting thought when making a movie. Okay, flash forward 50 years from now, if people know he's the devil, does it matter? And they must have said no, because obviously they kept Bayworth as her character as is.
Baylock.
Baylock.
So there's that aspect of it. The funny thing is, as the movie's going along, I was like, I know Damien lives because there's sequels. I need Baylock to die. Like for me to have any satisfaction, I need that bitch to die.
And the dog.
Yeah, the dog does not die though.
No. There are movies, I can't name them by name, but I know for a fact there are movies that are like the dog made me do it. Like movies with motivation is like, oh, what happened to you? It's like the dog made me do it. I'm like, it must come from this movie.
Potentially, yeah. I also have you. Can you think of another movie where you're like actively rooting for a child to die?
Well, there's like a lot of movies where it's like an evil kid, right?
Yeah.
There's like and those movies obviously kind of come from this.
But I think in those movies, you're thinking, oh, maybe the children can be saved. It's like an entity taking them over or whatever. But in this, you're like, no, this kid has to die. We have to murder this kid.
Well, what's interesting is like you as the audience, you're not as invested in it until I think for me the wife dies. Then for the husband character, it's kind of all coming together for him. He's like, okay, now I have to kill this kid, right?
Yeah.
But he was hesitant about it before his wife died. But even how she died, here's another thing that bothered me. Bayworth?
Baylock.
Baylock. Jesus Christ. Baylock was the one who finished off the wife, which bothered me. I was like, I wanted Damien to do it.
Well, Damien didn't kill anybody.
No, I know. Well, Damien almost killed his mom by pushing her off the balcony. Well, like pushing her off the balcony.
Well, that was actually Baylock too. If you wanna get into the legalities of it, she totally made that happen.
But that's kind of my point, right? Like he does all this stuff, but it's almost like
This leads to my central question. Like, is this a boss baby situation where like Satan is in this little boy body and knows he's Satan or knows he's the son of Satan? Or is it just like Damien is like growing into being the Antichrist, or is it he knows the whole time
I think there's a thing about his 5th birthday
being important?
being like an activation thing where he probably was unaware of his cosmic powers and then he turned 5. Well, actually, I will even go deeper into it. I think it wasn't until the nanny hung herself that was the activation ritual where he's like, okay, up until that point, he's just a kid. Now he's the son of Satan.
Potentially, I do wonder. Like, I mean that I had the question of why does that nanny kill herself? What is the purpose of it?
The dog made her do it.
But why does Satan want her to die?
It's a message, right? It's like a ritual.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's your explanation. I don't know that we get like a solid, like cogent explanation from the movie.
It's the best I
I
have.
It does lead to the best line, which I started this with. It's all for you, Damien. It's like I don't. That part got like sort of spoiled for me too when I was listening to I want to like go back and find that podcast and listen to it now. I think we can start going through this pretty quickly. It's like it's divided up into good scenes, and I know we've sort of gotten away from like spelling out a movie, but this part is I think there's interesting bits in each part, starting with like the June 6th, 6 a.m., and he's like, "Your child is dead," and he's like, "Oh, I can't tell my wife; it would kill her." And like this movie opens up, it's like it's about men fucking up trying to fix things, like
That's true. Yeah.
he's trying to fix which leads to a question of they they killed the son not knowing if they would adopt this kid. How many babies did they kill before they got someone to take this Satan baby?
Oh shit!
Now,
Yeah.
I guess
Well,
maybe
no,
this
I
wasn't.
mean this
We're,
had to be the first because you only have the one shot at June 6th. I mean,
like,
unless they do it every year
well,
or every 10 years.
that's what the grave said too. So I think you have to assume. But it is like this could have not worked out, and they're like, all right, well, got to find another famous ambassador person in another
Oh,
country and try and make
even
this
more.
happen.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too, right? Like the position of power that this guy has to be perfectly aligned with what they need baby Satan to accomplish.
So then the movie just like goes in, like, first of all, that opening score as you start the movie, and like
This film did win the Academy Award for music score.
for the song Hail Satan.
Oh, for just the song? I thought it won it for the
Well,
entire score.
but that's like the main score, it's the main part of the score is that bit. So but then you have that opening, and then it's just like a fucking YouTube day in the life video of them with Damien, like, oh, Damien, you're so
Also,
crazy.
these people are fucking rich enough to just have photographers just follow them throughout their like big moments.
Well, I think that photographer was at the party. I don't know. I think he was just following after that. He was like on a mission after that.
No, but I no. I know that photographer, but I just meant like photographers at his party, at the croquet match, at the whatever first Damien's first day of school, and I'm like, he's not Tom Cruise with or what Michael Jackson with his kids. How paparazzi all over there. He's like a fucking ambassador. So they have to hire like photographers to be like document every moment of my child's birthday.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we keep mentioning it, but this opening death is just her cadence, the way she talks, the smile, the crazed look in her eyes.
For me, it's the swinging back and breaking the window.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
And then Damien just waves to the dog after that. And the camera guy, who is David Warner, I've seen in so many things. I was trying to pinpoint like what exactly I recognize.
He looked like Ray Fiennes a little bit.
I could see that. So after this, we get the father who visits him, and he's like, I was at the hospital. And he gets his line cut off where his mother was a jack, and I guess it's supposed to be a jackal.
I was confused about that. I thought that was going to come up. It never came back up. What does that even mean?
Well, no, it's an actual dog. We see the fucking mom. It was a dog. Who fucked that dog? Did Satan fuck that dog?
Whoa. I thought that body, that is not what you're trying to say, is it? Is that baby was actually birthed by a dog?
I think that's what the movie's saying.
His mother is a jackal. Sounds like an insult. Your mother's a jackal.
So the guy that wrote this, David Seltzer, actually was very clear afterwards that this was just a job for pay, that he felt all this was very silly, that people like believed in any of this, got scared by it, that this was just to make money. I looking at everything else he wrote, and I'm like, I wouldn't poo-poo this too much, my guy, like, because this is a maybe one of
He
your like your big
really? Uh,
yeah. Oh,
it
he did.
reminds me of that quote that Mark Wahlberg recently said, where he's like, I don't think I'll ever be in an MCU movie. I'd feel like too ridiculous to come out of my trailer in one of those flamboyant costumes. Someone was like, my guy, you were in the two worst Transformer movies, plus you wore a fake mustache for the Uncharted movie. You can like chill out.
Plus his huge fake cock for Dirk Diggler.
That's where he draws the line.
Yeah, well, so after this, we have Mrs. Baylock show up. And this scene, I was just like, I explained to my wife, she's just like, leave me alone with the boy. And they're like, okay. And then they have the conversation of like, oh, you didn't call her. You didn't call her. So they go up and question her. And she's like, oh, the agency sent me.
Yeah.
And they're just, oh, okay. All right. Go
Yep.
have alone time with our son. It's fine.
No, they even were like, hey, I'm going to call the agency. And with all the confidence in the world, she's like, yeah, that's fine. Let me also give you my references. Seem to have totally like hook, line, and sinker with the whole let me call the agency shit. Like, they never did that.
I'm sure Satan has the power to get someone working at an agency.
Beep, 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 bring, bring. Hello, I just wanted to check with the agency if you sent over a replacement nanny after ours hung herself in a public setting. Yes, it was no problem. It's covered. Oh, okay.
Mrs. Baylock is the best.
Yeah, highly recommended. It's just the most like Satan-y voice.
So we get a montage of scenes after this. The church freakout scene, which is actually how Harvey Stevens is Damien. It's how he got hired for this, because Richard Donner of Superman directing fame.
I was just gonna say, do you know the other Richard Donner movie we did this year?
So he had all the kids audition by saying "attack me," like the mom in that scene, and fucking this Damien goes up, scratches his face, and kicks him in the balls. And I guess he was quoted as like, "Dye his hair black and get him in the movie," because he was blonde.
Is this a blonde little kid?
It was a little blonde kid.
Crazy. Oh, actually, that works really well with his like piercing blue eyes. That makes sense.
Well, they had to. Those were contacts too. Harvey Stevens has one other acting credit.
Is it obvious?
Yes.
Or is it so different? No, it's obvious.
He plays paparazzi in the 2006 Omen movie. He plays a paparazzi person. He like almost like a
well,
stunt
actually,
casting.
what I was gonna say, it did come. I was gonna say he was in another Omen movie, which
like the Omen 2. He was.
He was.
Yeah, the remake.
He. Oh well, okay. He didn't revise his role in.
Tell you what happens in Omen 2 and 3. You're gonna have to guess on that. So.
All right.
So we just get a bunch of scenes of like Damien, like at the zoo scene. I think is pretty cool with the monkeys, the baboons. And then there's also like a scene where he's like, should we call the doctor? And she's like, why? He's never been sick. And Gregory Peck's like, yeah, isn't that fucking weird that he's never been sick? He's a child.
You just unlocked a memory. There's a zoo scene in the Julia Stiles one where they go to the zoo, and instead of like bamboo, instead of baboons, it was a gorilla like goes running up to the glass and punches and cracks the glass. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure like looking back on it, if I did, the CGI would be god awful. But I think it was really effective with the baboons, because they are almost on like a safari preserve sort of thing.
It was a cool little setup for a zoo. A thing you probably can't do anymore. People just driving their own cars through baboons. How many baboons were run over?
But I think you can actually do that. I saw a vlog just the other day about people doing that in Africa.
Yeah, this was
driving your own.
This
your
was
own
in
cars.
the UK.
Okay.
So then the father comes and warns him again, and basically sets up how the movie's going to end. Right? Like you have to go to this person to figure out how to kill the son, because your unborn child, your wife, and then you are all going to die and he says he's going to use your wealth to build his counterfeit kingdom. Basically, like he's going to bring the end of days.
Except here's probably the biggest fuck up from the father in the movie. If that is true, by the time your unborn child dies and your wife dies, and you don't do this, you're an idiot. Go into your will and disown the bastard.
Go to the lawyers, get the paperwork going. I'm also like, what if you just took a
It's
gun?
because it's kind of like an All the President's Men sort of movie, just like
What
a
if you-
document.
What if you just shoot him in the face? Like, what's going to happen to him if you just shoot?
The bullet stops right at the forehead, kind of like you see that Magneto scene.
Yeah.
It's like the bullet just stops right there and just drops. It's like, you've made a mistake, father.
Yeah, I did wonder, like, how, I mean, this kid seems pretty defenseless. The father kind of knocks him out pretty quickly.
One of the scenes, and we kind of skipped over it. One of my favorite scenes is when Miss Baylock was so adamant about not getting him to church.
Oh yeah. And
The mom is like, just get my child dressed and bring him to church. And she's like, oh, he doesn't really have to go. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking? This is like day 2 of your hire. Why the fuck are you talking back to me? Just get him to church. And she's like, are you sure? That woman would be so fast out on the street at that point.
Well, I just thought towards the end, after my wife's dead, I'm like, I'm going home and I'm killing her first. Like, I know he doesn't know that Baylock did it. So I guess maybe like, I'm just, anyway.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's a little weird. Although he does close the door, but like,
we'll get to it.
All right.
So the storm comes out of nowhere. He tries to run to the church. He can't make it in. This felt like an Austin Powers situation where he's
the priest.
Yeah, the priest is screaming for like 30 seconds as this pole goes into him. It's like, just move out of the way.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
In the not the Shaun of the Dead, the other one. The other one.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. Thank you.
Oh,
do you remember in Hot Fuzz where the statue falls off the church and impales the guy?
Yeah. Oh, that's totally
blows the head.
That's probably what that was going for.
It felt exactly like that scene. So that's movie number 1 that the Omen inspires. Hot Fuzz.
You know, it's another just a question about a movie like this is like as a Catholic or a Christian or a whatever, why are you trying to stop the end of days? Like, one, why do you think you can stop the end of days?
That's the ultimate question.
Like, why do you think you can? But also, like, it's in Revelations. Why do you think you should? It's supposed to happen.
I kind of laughed.
I'm not saying lay back and enjoy it, but
I found this part of the movie ridiculous, where he's going through the poem and he's like, yes, the Jewish people have to go to Zion, and then also the Roman Empire regains power, and then he emerges from the sea, kills your unborn child, your wife, and you. And I was like, okay, they're safe, right? Like, they're pretty good, because the Roman Empire isn't coming back anytime soon, and also emerging from the sea. What the fuck does that mean? Just so the movie can promptly explain to me, oh, in fact,
the sea is politics.
All this shit has already happened in the most convoluted way. And I'm just like, really? Like, what was the Roman Empire one? Like, the fucking Latin is back in college courses again? Like, I don't know.
So this next scene where the wife is like, can't stand all the noise Damien is making, and she's like, can you get him out of here? And the husband walks in and is like, what? It's not that bad. He's just a child. It just reminded me of like a normal husband-wife relationship. Like, the wife is dealing with it all day, and then you're just like, well, it's just being a kid. And you're like, you haven't been here for this. Like, you don't understand.
Well, at this point, it is kind of showing how she is getting... He's almost like a poison in her life at this point. And ever since like Baylock came in, the dog came in. I also enjoyed the aspect of the movie of this like Satan forming his A-team.
Right?
Didn't it feel like that to you? Where it's like, okay, Damien is now activated. You bring in Baylock. And then Baylock brings in the dog, and they all like basically hoard themselves in these 2 rooms in the back of the house. And it just felt like
what's the play though?
Is it Satan's little army back there?
Does Baylock know the order of death that has to happen? I assume so. But like, what's the play
Well, like,
once that?
how though? Like, did the dog talk to her too? It has to be. And but also,
She's
I thought we were gonna get a more clear picture of like kind of where she came from.
is she fucking the dog?
Well, that's Plan B. It's like
Yeah,
if the Damien thing doesn't work out, they got to get another jackal
they'll
pregnant.
make another. Yeah, maybe this is like the fifth Antichrist they're on. The kids. It's apparently pretty easy to kill a kid, and this guy just fucked it up. So so after this, we get the wife wants an abortion. The doctor's like, you have to let it happen. He's like, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't happen. Spoiler alert: he's not that great. It happens, but the wife falling off of the balcony. So 2 years before this, Ellen Burstyn had the scene where she gets slapped by her possessed daughter, thrown against the wall because they used pulleys and they pulled the shit out of her, and she's like, Ellen Burstyn said that it like fucked her spine up for the rest of her life. Like how bad that was. So
Okay.
the wife in this movie, Lee Remick, knowing about that, was like, I'm not doing it. So they were gonna like really drop her, but like I guess catch her or whatever. I don't know. She was like, no. So this is actually shot in like a perspective where she's not falling, she's moving like horizontally.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
It looked like it.
It did.
It,
It looked
it,
it
it
looked
looked
it,
like it.
it looked like something out of like a Hitchcock movie.
It did. Hmm.
It looked good, but you could
It
definitely
looked
tell
okay. It looked
but
fine.
I was more like focused on the fact that she's falling on her back and she turns to
Yep.
kill the child. It's like, what are you
Oh
doing?
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
She's like, land on the baby.
Her motherly instinct is totally shot at this point. But that's kind of what I mean. It's so interesting how she has this fondness for her child, for Damien, and then once he's activated, he's like just annoys her. Like like his what like bad aura kind of grows and she grows disdain for him.
I do think another scene or two explaining why she's turned on him so quickly.
But I don't even think she knows why. It's just all of a
Correct.
sudden like I don't like this kid.
Yeah.
This
It
kid is
it
giving me the creeps.
it also does raise the question, which I think is kind of dealt with pretty well in the movie, of like how quickly could you turn on your son? Like from the like
Dude,
you're told your son is the Antichrist, like how much evidence, how quickly could you be like, yeah, that's
I have to give it to the dad, which I probably wouldn't be on that board train either. That he goes through the due diligence of making sure the 666 is on his son's head.
yeah. Well, you
And I'm
have
like,
to.
at that point, you got to kill him.
I also do think there is like a if it was like his son versus like
Oh, you're fucking right. He knew that it was a switcheroo the whole time.
he knew that he like obviously he's come to love Damien, but I think does the wife have a line at like I don't even think he's mine or something like that. Like she almost kind of
She goes through. Oh, okay. This is another scene I wanted to talk to you about, and it goes into what you're saying here. So let's just get to this now. She requests from her husband to see a psychiatrist. I love how normal it is in the 70s, is that the psychiatrist, after having the session with her, just immediately
explains to
goes,
the adult what happened. Like, oh
yeah.
yes, your wife can't handle this.
I mean, you don't even have that in like, unless someone is being like threatening to themselves or threatening to someone else. You, uh, you can't just go around as a psychologist or a psychiatrist and tell people like what is up with this person on a like even if they were a minor. I don't think you could do that on a level. So this guy just goes straight to the husband after her session. It's like, your wife is actually kind of depressed, manic, and weird. Also, this is
Weird.
where the line comes in where the psychiatrist tells the husband, your wife doesn't think he's hers.
Yeah.
And the husband is like, oh no, that's crazy.
So while this is happening, and he finds out that the father has been killed, uh, the camera guy calls, and this is after, the wife has fallen, and he shows him the photo about the line to the woman that hung herself, to the
Second
past.
reference to 1,000 other movies I've seen about like the photograph giving away the
Yeah.
killing. Another movie series that takes also the way that Satan or like the spirit of Satan kills people in this movie. This is where Final Destination gets it from.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So what I love too is he's like, well, why do he's like, I care about this too, and he shows him the photo of himself, and you cannot really tell from that photo how he's gonna die. Right? Like, I was like, it was just a line like through his entire body. It was like a huge like gash. I was like, I don't know what that's gonna be. So like when it happens is pretty amazing. So he leaves
Have you
Damien.
I think it's a Family Guy skit or like an American Dad skit where these two guys who are installing a window pane, they bring the window pane out of their truck and they're like, "You know what? Every time we bring it out like this, someone crashes into it." And they turn it to the side and they're like, we're geniuses." And then someone runs into them and gets cut in half. And they're like, "Well, at least the window didn't break."
So after talking to the photographer, he decides he puts the wife somewhere where she'll be protected, and he's like, I'm gonna leave Damien with the help. But all the help left, so it's just Mrs. Baylock. And he's just like, I know something's wrong with this lady, but I don't really give a shit about my son anymore, so I'm just gonna leave him.
What do you think happened to the help? You think Bale killed them all, or you think she just like promptly got rid of them? Like, hey, Master told me to let you guys go.
I didn't. I just thought that they were like, fucking Damien freaks us out, so let's get out of here.
Okay, okay. The entire like 12-person staff
Yeah, they're just like, fuck this. Well,
simultaneously is like, hey, you know what? Fuck this
it didn't
kid.
seem like it was. It didn't seem like it was that many people, but so they go to Rome. Fire burned down the hospital. Apparently, that taxi driver was like a mafia guy. He was the son of like a big time mafia boss that was doing in the taxi, like was the taxi driver. So fire burned the records room, which is just like that was purposeful, right? They didn't
I
want
think
the
the movie
records.
takes on a whole different life at this point in the movie.
Yes,
Like I don't know what it is, and it's not like I didn't like the beginning of the movie, but I am like very, very invested at this point in the movie.
yes.
And I was just kind of like honestly, I was on my phone a lot of the time in the beginning of this movie because it's a lot of talking and it's a lot of setup, and half of it you don't really need all the detail. Once we get here, I'm like locked in.
Yeah, I agree. It because it's like it's a little bit of a break in like the rest of the movie is a little bit formulaic in kids getting badder and badder. People are dying. People are dying. Now he's Satan's spawn. Like he's fully formed.
Also,
And
I think there's a point of this movie where it almost turns to a mystery noir sort of
yes,
vibe
yeah, right here.
than like I don't know, you're trying to figure out how bad Damien is. We know how bad Damien is, right? That's not the exciting part of this. It's like solving the mystery of the fire of, whenever he was born 5
Well,
years
who
ago and
Damien is, solving who Damien is the mystery.
yeah,
Then it turns
and
out,
but it's not even that. It's like the one-eyed priest and it's like finding him, the grave site, the skeletons, the blah 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 blah. And I'm like, that's the part that's so interesting.
so they find the priest and he gives them the graveyard. This graveyard scene is so creepy, as we've already talked about. Then the dogs all showing up, but yeah, he opens that grave. I will say, opens the grave. I was like, how are they going to show that the son has been killed? See the smashed in skull. I was like, oh, so obvious. And then the movie a little bit has to dumb it down for you. Where he's like, they killed him. They killed my son. Like he has to.
I don't think they dumbed it down. I think they did it actually like if this movie was made today and we could actually watch the one that was literally made today.
Hey,
I
you mean 30 years, 20 years ago?
no, the one that was made last year.
Yeah, I actually think that one's completely different. I don't think it involves it.
Well, whatever. I think that like for them to explain to the dumbed down audience of today, they'd be like,
They killed him So they
by
killed my son
smashing.
so that I would take over Satan's son. That's why they did this.
That's why they did this, and then they would even say he's like, they look at his skull, look at my baby boy's head, it's smashed in, blah blah blah, and the fact that they didn't mention that, but you see it, I think speaks a lot.
Well, we also at this is right. Oh no, it's after this that he gets the call that his wife was killed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I thought his arm getting impaled by the gate too. Like this scene goes on for a while where you're like, I think they're gonna escape, but are they gonna escape?
Well, you have like fucking 9 Cujos coming up, right? And
Yeah.
how it's played. I love how it's all the same dog breed as like the dog back home,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of hinting that it's just one dog because you're at this like panting angle for a while, and then you switch over, and you're like, okay, maybe 2 dogs, but then it's like 9 dogs, and they're like, oh, they're fucked. And I thought this is where the photographer was gonna die. I thought because he got his arm, the husband got his arm impaled with the spear of the gate.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's not very creative to kill another guy with a spear, Satan, but I guess here we go. I thought as he's helping the husband get off the gate, that one of the spears is gonna like get loose and like fuck him up.
Yeah.
But that's not how it happens. And actually, his death was actually quite cool. We talked about it a little bit already, but I liked it actually a lot.
So once again, Baylock, one of the coolest sort of villains in a horror movie. When the wife turns around and she's just there with her evil smile and then throws her out of the window, I thought was like an incredible scene. Cutting to them then going to Megiddo to talk to Bugenhagen about how to kill Damien.
When the priest in the beginning of this movie originally told the husband, hey, you got to go here to talk to this guy named Bugenhagen and blah, 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 blah. I was just like, no one's going to do that. Like, that's fucking complicated.
Can you write this down? Why couldn't Bugenhagen tell you? I would also have loved if he goes to Bugenhagen and Bugenhagen's like, all right, here's a gun. You got to shoot him.
Shoot the fucker in the face.
Just shoot him.
Also, it's like, here's a gun with like, Latin symbols carved into the bullets. Like, make it a little bit more like Blade-esque, you know?
So he has 666 on his. Here's a minus 666, so it'll cancel out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he tells him he's got to stab him just with all these knives and get the blood on the altar, right? And then he tells him about the birthmark, and he's like, he doesn't have a birthmark. He's like, it must be on his head, which it's like, if it's a birthmark, you would have seen that one too, probably.
When he was born?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you were with him pretty early on. And then he's like, that woman is an apostle of hell. She will die before she lets you do this. So then Gregory Peck throws the knives because he's like, I'm not doing this. He gets Jennings, the photographer, killed because Jennings goes to collect the knives.
I don't think he gets Jennings killed. Jennings was destined. Look, it's another Final Destination thing again. It's like Jennings was destined to die.
What I like is, so the wife's death, not very gory, right? And they couldn't show blood because it was going to get rated X at this time. They couldn't show a lot of blood. But the woman hangs herself. It's a pretty subtle, like subdued death. The wife gets thrown out, right, of the window. She lands. To then have the fucking decapitation scene.
I don't know. I mean, the priest getting impaled is pretty gruesome.
It wasn't, though. It wasn't that bad. He just gets hit through like the shoulder and just, it kills him. He's just like, ugh. But this, I think, was, I don't know, crazy good. There is a story. So David Warner kept his own head, his fake head, and had it for years. And then I know you shouldn't say this about a woman, but his bitch of an ex-wife took it in the divorce.
Wow.
Come on.
Have you heard of like that Kit Harington from Game of Thrones thing that he did to his wife or girlfriend or whatever?
No.
So there's a severed head of Jon Snow, and he brings it home one day, and for April Fool's Day, he puts it in the refrigerator, and she's like casually, like he sets up the camera and everything, and she's just casually opening the fridge and getting like snacks or whatever.
Yeah.
And she turns, and you see from the angle of the camera, like where she is, you see her jump back, slide, and like fall to the kitchen floor, screaming bloody murder. And it was like on Ellen or something. And she's interviewing Kit Harington, and she's like, and so you do April 1st pretty hard. And can we see what your wife or girlfriend saw in the fridge? And he shows up a picture, and it's Jon Snow's bloody decapitated head
Yeah.
that he set up in the fridge. And he's like, to be fair to me, my family does April Fools pretty hard. Her family never really got into it. So I thought we were on the same level, but apparently we weren't.
Yeah, severed heads. It's pretty high. It's a high level. So also had the thought after the photographer dies, is he just like moving the dead decapitated body to pick up the knives? Because it cuts to him holding them in his private jet on the way back home. So he's
That's
like, hold
another.
on, I got to count all these knives. How many do I have? How many daggers do I have? Is there? Oh wait, check under his legs.
I do like how rich they made this guy, though, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they had to for the plot, but also like not just like a little rich, but like private jet, mansion with the help included, and then that birthday party was insane.
Well, it also just being in Britain makes everything look cooler.
Does it bother you that Damien was activated on his 5th birthday? And do you think it should have been his 6th birthday?
That's a question. I don't know. You're the one who keeps using the term activated. Like, so I don't even know if that's the way that like the writer and the director
I
would
was gonna
describe
say
it.
weaponized, but that was already taken this year, okay? So
Well, it wasn't already taken in 1976. So he goes back home, traps the dog. He grabs the scissors and is like, "Oh yeah, kill."
whoa. Don't skip trapping the dog. That's the smartest thing that man has done all movie.
Well, I didn't skip it because I said it, but if you want to speak on it a little bit more,
I
feel
want to say
free.
that the dog is like that's like they were mentioning like the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, but like Satan wise, right?
Right?
The dog is the Holy Spirit of Satan in it, right?
I don't know. They don't say that in the movie.
So I like how it looks like he went down in the basement, and the dog is standing at the top of the stairs, looking down into the basement, very like barbarian-esque. But the dog even kind of like perks his head up, like,
This is a trap.
is he down there? Should I go down there?
I would have liked to
Yeah,
kick.
it's great.
I would have liked to kick to the dog. I don't think
I
you
don't
can
think
do
you
it.
could do it.
You couldn't do it. Apparently, that dog was super nice, so it was hard to film him because he just wanted to like lick people.
Mm.
Didn't look menacing, which I agree. So he grabs the scissors and is like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna fucking kill Baylock with those scissors." Nope, uses it to carve out the cut the hair, find the 666, and then she jumps on him, and I was like, "You have to kill this bitch. You have to." And he doesn't. He just throws her against the wall, grabs his son, knocks him out, starts dragging him down the stairs. Then she comes at him again, finally kills him. And this
Kills
part,
her, right?
yeah, kills her. Sorry, I don't know what that was. What Baylock was. This part actually bothers me because I knew how it was going to end, but I felt like it was a little like convoluted slash poorly written to like, oh, he's driving so fast that the cops are like, oh, that's an ambassador. We have to follow him. Something's up. Like the reaction time of the police to like,
Right.
it just felt like such
Well,
kind of.
also, I mean, what did you want? There's a lot going on in this movie. So, did you want like a couple of cops to already be up his ass about something, following him throughout like half the movie, and
I'm not a
that's what
screenwriter. I
that's
just
what
want.
places them there?
I'm not a screenwriter. I'm not going to tell you to fix it. I'm just going to tell you to enjoy it.
You know how in the Joker, there's like those two cops that follow him around, and so when you're at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
them running him down kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted?
Once again, I'm not a screenwriter. I'm not going to tell you how to fix it. I just thought it was so.
Okay.
Then it cuts to, I think this part is pretty brilliant, that like, oh, the ambassador is trying to kill his son. We're just going to cover that up and have like a hero's funeral for him. and then the son is now in the care of the president of the United States, which I will help you a little bit is not how it keeps going in the Omen 2.
Oh,
So,
okay.
do you want to do let me do while you're thinking up how the Omen 2 and 3 go, let me run through some of these fun facts because we have finished the movie.
Okay, I'm gonna write something down. Go ahead.
Unlike Friday the 13th, Richard Donner refused to kill animals in this movie. So the goldfish were actually dead sardines
I would
that
like it.
dropped out of the bowl. Apparently, they considered that there was like a curse with this movie. So there was like car accidents surrounding it. Richard Donner was staying at a hotel that got bombed by the IRA. There was a head-on crash with several of the people in the car, and then John Richardson, who was the special effects artist, was injured and his girlfriend beheaded in an accident on the set of A Bridge Too Far, which was filmed right after this.
Wow.
So yeah, but also other people were like, yeah, they were trying to overplay the curse aspect of this movie that like a lot of movies do, like Poltergeist did and Exorcist and all that. So this movie originally was going to be called The Antichrist, but then the studio had suggested something more subtle, so they went with The Birthmark. However, The Birthmark, since a lot of this was filmed in Italian maternity wards, apparently that was like bad luck to be calling it The Birthmark. And they had signs up saying filming The Birthmark. And so they asked them to not have that written up there. So they just wrote filming The Omen as like a placeholder for when they were actually going to name the movie. And they just stuck with The Omen, which is cool.
That is cool.
Damien was originally supposed to be called Domlin because the writer had a friend whose obnoxious child was called Domlin, but then his wife told him he had to change the name.
Like Domlin Gleeson?
No, Domlin, Domlin. So like a name I've actually never heard of.
Mm.
So in one original ending, all three members of the Thorpe family were killed at the conclusion, but the studio head said it was a mistake because the devil's impossible to kill, and he wanted Richard Donner to shoot a more open ending. Basically, they wanted sequels. In a different original ending, Robert kills Damien at the church and good triumphs over evil, but the MPAA said the scene was too shocking, so they had to change it. So I guess those are two alternate reasons why it was changed. So I don't know which one is true. But the last thing is, here's some alternate casting. Charlton Heston, Roy Scheider, Dick Van Dyke, and William Holden turned down the lead role. And if I have
Heston would have been good.
one complaint, Charlton Heston went on to do a movie called The Awakening, which was apparently similar to The Omen. I would have loved Roy Scheider in this. I think he would have been absolutely perfect as the dad. If I have one complaint, it's that Gregory Peck's acting this is almost a little too subtle and subdued in certain aspects of it. Like he's acting like a guy who's acted like in the decades preceding it. Like I don't know.
I agree with you.
I would have wanted more emotion from the character that you don't really get. But also that could just be the character. And also I reserve the right to change my mind about that when I watch this movie again. But yeah, I love Roy Scheider, so I think he would have been amazing in that.
All right, I got my sequel ideas.
All right, Omen 2. What's it going to be about?
Little Nicky, the Adam Sandler movie where he's the devil. No. So here it is, right? I have Damien goes to camp.
Okay.
So he goes to like a summer camp, and there's mysterious killings, and everyone thinks it's like a Jason type character, but it turns out to be Damien. I have Damien goes to college, where he goes through like antics of like a regular college student, but he has Satan powers, so that like gives him the edge on like bullies and losing his virginity and stuff like that.
Okay.
I have Damien goes to hell, so he actually does get killed, and then he meets his dad, but it doesn't go very well. Kind of like Meet the Parents sort of thing, but in hell.
Yeah.
And then my last one is Damien versus Chucky.
Okay.
And I think that one is pretty self-explanatory.
So yeah, those are not great. So
Wow. I worked real hard on those, but okay, fine.
So in the second movie, Damien goes to live with his uncle, who's played by William Holden, who was offered the lead role in the first Omen.
Huh.
And Damien, at 13 years old, is apparently discovering that he is the spawn of Satan. So my boss baby question was accurate, sort of like the opposite of that. Like he didn't really know who or what he was. You know, he was just like, oh, bad shit happens around me. And then I guess William Holden has to try and kill 13-year-old Damien. Spoiler alert, in the final conflict, which is the third one, the Antichrist is now an adult, played by Jurassic Park's Sam Neill.
Who eventually goes to space, and the events of Event Horizon suddenly make sense.
The now adult Antichrist plots to eliminate his future divine opponent while a cabal of monks plot to stop him. And that's supposed to be the final conflict. They made another movie after this. I want to do those movies. We are eventually going to do those movies. People that reviewed this movie were like, this is just an Exorcist / Rosemary's Baby ripoff. Like, and those did it way better. You know what? Fuck those people. There can be more than one.
I could see Rosemary's Baby because that's pretty much what this is about. This is so different from The Exorcist, though.
Yes.
Oh, there's a moment in this movie where they're like, oh, there's a demon called Zuzu or something. Zulu. And I was like, is that the same demon from The Exorcist? It's not.
Pazoozoo.
Pazoozoo, yeah. Pazoozoo's from The Exorcist. This one's different, but I was like, is it necessary for the demons to have zoo in their name? Also, for a sequel idea, I had Damien Goes to the Zoo, but that was already kind of done in this movie. So,
Well, thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
and this is Alain, and we finally watched The Omen.